Yo, GM. What is good, everybody? It is Rapture. Oh my goodness. I do not know what the fuck is up with Twitter, but they are destroying broadcasts and lives. They don't show up on my feed anymore. I'm not showing up on, I don't know what is going on. They're killing the reach. That is very disappointing. I will be underway very shortly. Just give me a moment. I need to throw up a quick post on Twitter to get this, at least get some motion on it. You can just vibe to this beat real quick, and I will be with you live in a moment. We got the BTC weekly chart up right now. Just give me a couple moments. Bear with me. All right, everybody. I made that post. Man, Twitter, what are you doing to me? Elon Musk, Kita Beer, what are you doing to me, bros? You're killing the live stream reach. Man, that is frustrating. Let me check in the chat real quick. Hey, JJ, what is good, my homie? Always appreciate you being here, my man. We got a small turnout today. You know what? It was a bit of a small turnout last session as well. Just overall, market just feels empty, doesn't it? Let me turn this down so we can chat at a reasonable, respectable level, so the music isn't interfering. Well, hello. It's your boy Rapture. We got the BTC weekly chart up. We're going to dive into that momentarily. How's everybody's week been? How's your trading been? How's the market been treating y'all? You've been trading these markets? Have you been live in the markets? do have to say it is a little bit of a bummer, when we're doing these live sessions and the reach is a little bit handicapped from the platform. It's not because of, I'm not shadow banned or anything like that I know. I've seen from other accounts as well that the way that broadcasts are working, that how you host a live session, they're just not getting pushed out to the feeds anymore. And that is a big reason for me for having Twitter Premium, X Premium, is to be able to host the live sessions here on the platform. And so without that organic push out, it's kind of like a slap in the face, I'll be real. We got a few more people trickling in. GM, appreciate that. We'll get this underway now. Enough of my bitching, it just is what it is. Like, got to adapt, got to figure out ways to help reach more people so we can help bring them along on this journey towards profitability, to have a process, to trade off of a system, to have a set of conditions and rules, and also just to use my high time frame levels and trade those levels for the reversals and the interactions, as I like to say. Let's pull this up real quick. And welcome. This is Rapture's Scalp and Swing Sessions, number 14. Can you believe it's already been 14 of these? Holy fuck. That is flying by. Does not feel like it's been 14 of these already. We're here for the weekly close show, where our focus is on high time frame levels and strategy for the days and week ahead. We'll take a look at BTC ETH SOL, maybe at hype. We've been nailing the moves on BTC, nailing the moves on hype. I haven't been paying too much attention to ETH and SOL, but I do mark them out for you guys on these high time frame episodes so you can plan your trades around them. We'll also take a look at the weekly macro dashboard. And that brain fog I had last time definitely turned into a little bit of a cold. I thought it was, if we're going to be spared, but today when I woke up, it just feeling funky. So I apologize in advance if you hear me sniffle or cough a few times. Do my best to keep that off of the mic. And I want to give a big shout out to my friends over at BingX. BingX is a wonderful exchange platform with some really cool and unique trade functions, especially when you're doing low time frame entries, that I found super useful, that we reviewed live a few sessions ago. We'll bring that back, one of the low time frame sessions, so you guys can take a look. But if you are considering joining BangX, use code Rapture for sign up bonuses. Sorry, I'm just laughing because that just made me, it sounded like one of those late night talk radio hosts. Should I get low and deep for you? Man, gotta snap out of this cold and get back to normal rap. Get my energy levels back up. And if we have some time, maybe we'll take a look at my high time frame my high time frame Swing Screener Pro to see if there's been any assets that put in a weekly SFP with the close. We can check my screener to see what's on that list. And don't forget, if you're not already, to join my Telegram channel, Rapture's Trade Book. You can find the link to in the description if you're joining from YouTube, or if you're on Twitter. The link is in my bio, where I post more up-to-date charts more frequently than I post on the timeline on Twitter, and more frequent thoughts. So I recommend you go and sub to my channel there. It is a free channel, where I keep it more current and as a compliment in between the live streams. Okay. What do we got here? We got the BTC weekly chart. not much has changed from a weekly perspective, right? We can zoom out to monthly. We're still threatening that monthly lower low close, and now we're more than halfway through the month, right? Less than 2 weeks remaining. Still a lot of time to repair that level, but at the moment, we're threatening a monthly lower low close, which will be the first time in its existence, at least in terms of this BTC USDT.P Perps pair on Binance. So weekly, we finally have the range confirmed, right? We set this up, the range quarters, on our last session, but I kept pointing out that, while this is likely the swing low, it wasn't confirmed. Well, now it's been confirmed with this weekly close here, because now it is this is a swing high with a low, high, low, middle candle being the highest point, including the wick. Now we have a low, a swing low, a high, lowest point being the middle candle, including the wick. That's how we determine swing highs and lows, at least from the strategy and system that I use. So we've got our weekly range. Well, what else do I see? We've got an inside week. We traded inside that week. We're now opening inside this week again, which is awfully similar to what happened here, right? Had that flush out. 1, 2, 3, 4 red candles. 1, 2, 3, 4 red candles. The extended lower candle, the lower wick on the last candle. Then we start to chop inside, right? Well, just like we mapped out that inside week there, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to take out our bid with our range quarters. We're going to map that out on that candle, because that's our inside week candle, right? We have the high and the low. What we'll be looking for when we get there to either the high of the inside week or the low of the inside week to take out one of those levels and then trade it the opposite way. Just the same as here, we took out the high and then we traded well below, right? Well, we're going to be looking for similar trades, but to either direction. It doesn't matter if it's going to be a long or a short. We will trade it either way. We're just looking for the interactions, right? So now we've got those mapped out. We've got our weekly range. We have all of our monthly levels, right? This is ultimately the monthly level that I want to see taken out. I'd really love this to get taken out, and what would be great is if that came down as an inside week, take out that week's low, take out that, and then that would be the swing entry of all swing entries that I'd be looking for along. That would be pretty sweet. We have our other monthly levels as well. Levels of importance. We've got our weekly mapped out. Now, I know this is a lot of levels going on here, right? But why is it that I do that? Right? We talk about this every single session. Is I am looking for the low time frame interactions at these high time frame levels so that I can take a trade. That's how I trade. I trade intraday. So I look for those low time frame interactions, see how price interacts with the high time frame levels, and decide whether I have a trade or not, right? I'm looking to trade reversals with a clear invalidation. So there's an area of supply on weekly up there. I do see some fair value gaps here on weekly, but I'm not going to cloud my chart with blocking out too much supply zones, right? Especially on weekly, like the levels are good enough for me. And come down to daily. So daily range, swing high, swing low. That hasn't changed, right? Our daily range remains the same. The market structure break level there. We do have an area of supply up here. There's some supply in here, but we're using these high time frame levels as our guide. What I do see, and even though I'm looking for something down here, it doesn't have to come down there, right? Like I'm not boxing myself into it having to be one level or another. I just look for the interactions at high time frame levels, and I see now we've got this daily internal range swing low that could be an area for a nice reversal, nice long potential, right? It also aligns with one of our weekly range quarters right down there. So maybe price comes down from here takes that out and we get a long up into here, and then maybe we get low. You know, I'm not trying to predict too many moves in advance. For now, that's what I see on daily. Nothing else to update on daily there. And yes, the lines, well, that's why I use different colors, different thicknesses of lines, so that it reminds myself at a glance what type of level it is. Right, those thicker gray lines, monthly, thin gray lines, weekly, thicker purple, my Miami colors, my Miami Vice colors, those thicker purple lines are daily, range, the range extreme levels, and then the thinner purple are all the internal range, and anything below, anything between H12 and H4 swing levels. And then the blue is just the market structure break. So that gives you that visual representation of, okay, we're still in the down trend. So there's daily. See what we have on H12. So what we can see, and I posted this morning, we had an H12 SFP with the high. Getting some notifications about some M15 SFPs going down. We're not going to concern ourselves about that right now because we're not focused on low time frame execution right now. We are just looking for our high time frame levels. Excuse me. Okay, so I think we can get rid of this level now, because this H12 bullish breaker, right? We outlined this in the Telegram channel. A few days ago, I said, here's your H12 bullish breaker. We put in an H12 SFP, market structure break. This is where we're looking for a higher low to form for possible continuation up. Right, this is the setup as I see it right now. The H12 SFP of that internal range high this morning gave follow through. Pointed that out in the Telegram channel this morning when I woke up. Got myself a nice little green tea rocking. On H12, are there any other levels that I can see here of importance? Not at the moment. We'll move it down to H4. Oh, apologies, I have to sneeze. I'm going to mute for a second. I got sneeze cucked. Isn't that the worst? When you feel like you got to sneeze, then you got to blow it out and it just cock blocks you. Worst. So off of that H12 SFP this morning, I outlined this H4 bearish breaker right here. Now, I think this level doesn't look very relevant. I'm sure on lower time frames it's given some stuff, but really not extreme enough to be important. So I think we're going to get rid of that. But what we can say is cheer. Now we have an H4 swing low right there. So maybe we're going to get one more stab down to that, or a reversal for a long up into this bearish H4 breaker, for a short down into here. I don't know, right? Like, this is just planning out potential moves for the coming days. Right? We'll extend that out. Extend this out more. Extend this out. Extend that out. Right? We're just waiting for interactions. Just waiting for the interactions. And that is what I can see on BTC. I'll share these charts later in the Telegram channel as well, so you guys can map them out as you need. Now, you don't need to copy all the levels that I use. But why do I say that I map them out, right? It's so that I'm prepared for those interactions, so that I'm not guessing, you know? If I didn't have this mapped out and price came down here and started to show me low time frame reversals, I don't have that immediate mental check to say, okay, well, there's a reason why I'm looking for a possible reaction here or down here, right? It's just about being prepared. And we modify them and adjust them and add or remove as they seem relevant. Well, for now, that's what I see on BTC. All right, so top down, monthly, weekly, daily. You know, if like tomorrow morning you wake up and you've got prices come up into here, or prices come down into here, and it's giving you a good reaction, then you know what your trade's going to be, right? Then you're looking for a short here, looking for a long here. Excuse me. All right, that's what I talk about when I say it's all about being prepared. Yes, we have this H12 bullish breaker set up here. So you're possibly looking for the long in here. What that would look like to me, ideally, would be an SFP of this, and then get up into there, right? You're just preparing yourself for the next trades. Taking a trade right like in the middle here just doesn't make any sense. Give me something that I can work with. Let's just extend these out. All right, just keeps it clean. Okay, moving along. Let's take a look at ETH. By the way, if anyone has any questions, please do not hesitate to drop them into the chat, whether you're joining on Twitter or if you're joining from YouTube. Please do not hesitate to drop a question into the chat. I'm here to chat. I'm here for you guys. I'm here to vibe. I'm here to vibe. Is my mic volume okay? I don't even know. I don't even know though. So now let's move on to ETH. Let's see what we got. Nothing's changed on monthly, right? We're still trading down here. I still think this looks like a target. It just looks like a target, right? We just talked about last week, like a lot of people might draw this and be like, well, you know, but where is that? Is it that? Well, then it's clearly underneath. I don't like diagonals. I'm not a diagonals guy. I'm not a diagonals kind of guy. Just not. I think that looks like a likely target on monthly for ETH. Okay, same thing on ETH. Our bearish weekly range is now confirmed, complete, because we've got, like, it was already bearish. The bearishness was already confirmed. It was whether the range was confirmed. Now we have the swing low there. Same thing as BTC. We're trading inside week there, so we're going to map this out with our range quarters on the fib. Right, just gives us a few extra levels. Why do the range quarters work on weekly? I don't fucking know. They just do, so I use them. Right, or key ranges or inside week plays. Right, same thing for BTC. Here on ETH, if it comes down and takes out that weekly, like, this is what I'm saying about why these monthly levels look so juicy, right? Like, look at how it's just aligning. Come give me a inside week low, take out the low, reclaim, take out the monthly level in the process, then give me a nice swing long, right? Or we have the inside week range high there, right? They're just ways to frame trades. It's just a way to frame a trade. That's all we're looking to do, is we're trying to have a way to frame a trade. Now, what I can see on weekly, right, it aligns with here. We've got a bearish fair value gap there at the weekly inside week high. So maybe it comes up, takes this out first before coming down here, right? Like maybe it does something like this. Maybe we just go. Let me try that again. Maybe we, maybe we come up here, take that out before coming down here and doing something like that, right? I don't know. And drawing squigglies is the only reason that I'll ever really draw squigglies, just to give you guys an idea of what we're looking for, right? So like down here, what we'd be looking for is some sort of, give me that, right? Take out the low, reclaim, make a higher high, enter on the retest, boom, right? It's the only reason, and apologies for that sniffle, that was nasty. So that's ETH on weekly. Let's go down to daily, see if, let's say 12, let's see daily. Just a lot of chop, right? It's a lot of chop. Look at how this monthly level, daily SFP into it, right? This is why I say mark out these levels. You have trades all day, right, guys? Like, look, trade, trade, boom, boom, boom. You got trades all day, right? So, daily range. It's a bearish range. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that was rude of me. Yawning. See, I rarely get sick. And it doesn't usually bother me too much. It's just a pain in the butt, but it is a pain in the butt, right? Just unnecessary. So, what can I see? We'll take this. We'll copy that. You know, I don't even know if I need to because we can see where it is. It's just that it's that weekly range quarter level. If it's going to take that out, it's going to take, right? Same difference pretty much. But there we have it. It's all good. We got that. We can probably just do this too here, right? There's some key levels on daily. And I know, it starts to have some lines. That's why we use the different color and thickness linos. These linorinos. Holler at a quick lino. It's a kicker. Let's go on to H12. So H12, we already had a level there. Now we're putting in this daily level. I think we can get rid of the H12 because it exactly aligns with that weekly level. There we go. Make it a little cleaner. Nothing much else to report here on H12. No other levels I see. There was the H12 SFP. So there's probably an H4 breaker here. Let's take a look. What do we see? What do we see? What do we see? So this was at H12 SFP. So here we have an H4 breaker. Bullish H4 breaker right there. That was the H12 SFP off of that level. Bullish H4 breaker. I see a question in the chat from Asta. Welcome, Asta. Are you a first-time attendee? First time recognizing your PFP or name. Asta asks, hey Rapture, how's it going? Why do you map out breakers up to the SFP? Isn't the breaker just the last up-down candle before a market structure break? So, there are two different types of breakers. There is like a supply and demand order block style breaker, which is more of a high time frame use, and then there's a breaker entry box, which I learned directly from the homie Trader Main. Shout out Trader Main. That I usually use more on low time frame, but when they happen on high time frame, they're very clear signal. And the reason why you use the SFP is because you're looking for a swing low SFP or a bullish SFP. You're looking for the lower time frame, or in this case mid time frame, swing high that creates that SFP, that creates the higher time frame SFP. So this is an H12 SFP right here. This is what happened here. This is the H4 swing high that created that, and then price flipped that, creating the market structure break. This becomes your breaker zone. And why we use down to the SFP is because that's where you know when the trade is invalidated. So if you're using it just as it's the basic entry style, which would be market structure break level, entry level, stop, that's a basic breaker. But I use breakers as a target zone where we're looking for a lower time frame signal, right? So we have, let's break this down real quick, because this is a good opportunity to break this down on how I use the system that I use, the strategy that I use, and how I like to trade. So I like high time frame signal. H12 SFP was right here. This was an H12 SFP. So that's step one. That's your high time frame signal. Step two is a mid time frame trade setup. Well, the setup is this H4 breaker. This is the move that caused that SFP and then flipped that area, meaning that this whole area we'll have people who sold this, who are now underwater, looking to exit. As well, you have the patient traders looking to take the long out of there from people that decided to chase, right? Like it's just you have different types of people looking to do business in here. So the reason why the SFP is included here is because that's where the trade is invalidated. And it's just a target zone, right? Like, are you saying, why is it not just this? Well, you can see there that failed, right? Hopefully that answers your question, Asta. If you're still around in the chat, ask more questions, please. If you have more questions about it, please dive in. But there's two different types of breakers. There's the more traditional order block style breaker. And this is a entry style breaker, usually used on more lower time frames, but you're using it on the mid or low time frame of your high time frame signal. So in this case, it was an H12 SFP. So this is your H4 breaker. And so in here, I'm using that as a target zone. And so now that we're on H4, what we're going to do is, okay, let's see. Apologies for that sniffle. Now I see we have an H4 swing low here within the breaker. What I would love is to get an H4 SFP of that, and then that would be an ideal long for me. But it may not be that. You know, there's different. You can see it front ran this level too. So there's a high chance that if it does come back down, it's going to take that out. And we're just marking out our levels. So for this particular trade, if it violates the bottom of this, then that particular trade is invalidated. And you'd look for something different, right? So as it is right now, you want something here to tell you to get on board this trade. I'm just taking a look to see if there's any other H4 levels that I might want to mark out, and I don't really see anything. This weekly level is still very important. That's what I see on ETH for now. Hopefully you're still around, Asta, because if you do have any other questions, please fire them into the chat and I will answer them. There we go. First time watching my stream. Thanks for the explanation. Yeah, no problem, man. Feel free to ask away. I've been asked this, many times before about how it is that I outline breakers, and in particular the breaker entry style box. And it's been worked on and refined for a while. Like, I first learned about them from Trader Main maybe 2 years ago. And it's one of the techniques that he uses that you have to. He doesn't share them all the time, so you have to really focus and pay attention to his live streams. Like, there's sometimes he'll drop these little nuggets, and I managed to incorporate it into my own process with a few little tweaks to suit my style. Right, like his strategy with breakers and entries is you enter off the top of the box, right? For a bullish breaker, you put a limit at the top of the box, stop below. I look for the low time frame price action in here to get me on board the trade with a tighter invalidation. That's just the way that I like to trade. So there's ETH. Let's go on over to Solana. Let's go up to monthly. Still a large air gap down here. Not much has changed there. Similar, we've now got our confirmed range low on weekly with that week there. Something that I can, so I've actually been adjusting my weekly levels to use the thinner lines rather than weekly, because I used to use those weekly. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, so this is here. Go. I used to use, anyways, I've made a change because I really want that distinction to be very clear between monthly, weekly. So something else we have here, similar. We have the inside week. So there's our weekly range quarters, fibbed out. It's giving us a lot of similar doubled up lines that we already have. So this is, on Solana, there's a lot stronger interactions we'd be looking for off some of these levels because there's a lot of confluence across them. Go down to daily. Pardon me for that sniffle. Interesting move here. It's kind of an ugly looking chart. This is just, well, anyways, we know it's Chop City. Let's go on H12. Okay, so there we took out the H12 range high. So this was the same as BTC as I highlighted this morning in the Telegram, like that H12 swing high. Well, there it was on Solana. Right? H12 swing low to H12 swing high. It's really just that simple, right? Like trade your high time frame levels, SFP to SFP, right? Boom, boom. Here we are on H4. Were there any other levels here I need to adjust on H12? I mean, I guess I could put one there. Put one there. We'll put one there. Extend this over. So we can bring that discussion back to the breakers, right? Like, just want to get rid of this. This is an untapped bullish H4 breaker off the H12 SFP. So you'd be looking for a potential move into here for a long. Extend that over. There we go. Cleaned up some lines. Cleaned up some levels. I got things to work with. Now here for this H4, sorry, this H12 bearish SFP, there is no break. There is no market structure break level, right? It's all the way down here. It's ridiculous. We can't use that. So what we'd be looking for is if this closes and we get a swing low here, this would be our market structure shift style breaker, which is still very wide. It's not very useful. We are getting some interactions about these weekly levels. So you could look to some of them for potential shorts. Similar to BTC and ETH though, like I think if you get stuff down into here, you want to be taking that long. So extend this stuff out. Let's take a look what's going on in there. I didn't quite touch it. Except I lost it there. Yeah, I think you're looking for longs in here. Right, like BTC already came down into the breaker. So what that tells me is Solana been stronger. There's BTC. ETH. It's weaker. Solana had a stronger move off the low there, right? You can see that. I bet you if we look at the SOL BTC chart, it's gone up a bit. Which we're going to do shortly. Okay, well, that's our high time frame levels on BTC, ETH, and SOL. Again, so I would love for this to come down into here, take out that level and give me a clean long. Maybe it's just this, right? It's tagging the breaker, but then I ultimately looking for a short from here, deeper down into here. Truthfully, really looking for the long down here. But we're playing this level to level, right? Like I'm not trying to predict 3-4 moves from now. I just want to see what the next trade's going to be. To me, I would love an SFP of here, or even deeper down into here. You know, any of these levels for an intraday long. Oh, excuse me. ETH is, so was there an H12? No, I just took out a monthly level. So there was an H4 SFP there, H4 bearish breaker. I do see that. Something like a long off of there, up into there, for a short, somewhere down in here. I could see it happening, right? It'd be very similar to what took place during all of this, right? Let's go to daily, right? Right? During all of this. I mean, look how clean some of those interactions were, right? But it's called this, right? There's your range. There's your range. So maybe it comes up before coming down. But for now, what we see on H4, you know, and we can see a cleaner H4 range start to form, right? High, low. So maybe it comes up into here and comes down and then goes, you know, there's going to be a lot of trades. There's going to be a lot of trades. That's why we have our levels mapped. Check out SOL. Yeah. Would love a long down here. To trade it up to somewhere up in here. And then, you know, ultimately, I think these lows are not safe. But who knows, right? Like, I don't fucking know. I just trade the levels. That's all we do. No, excuse me. Yeah, the long that I can see right now is somewhere from here. I don't think it's from here. This is also really weird structure. This is really weird structure. It's cleaned up some of it, but there's no swing lows in it that it's cleaned up. So I don't know. That's a little, Solana is looking a bit weird to me. Okay, so that's our high time frame view on BTC ETH and SOL. Let's pop over here real quick. Let's take a look at hype. Let's see how hype is following along with our plans. Switch to my high time frame swing layout. Okay, so we had the bounce off of the weekly bullish breaker outlined from a few weeks ago. We had that last week, the bounce. But I also said I could see it come down into here and do this for a few weeks, giving you a few trades, right? That's what we outlined last week. Well, there's the H12 SFP from last session. It gave a good reaction. Now it's rolling over. Check daily real quick. Let's just mark out some levels. So there's your daily range. It's a bullish daily range. Just mark out some internal swing levels while we're at it. There we go. Like, how nice would it be to get a SFP of that daily level into the weekly breaker? That'd be pretty sweet. But what do I see here on H12? Like coming into a swing level right here. Maybe it's going to give you a trade from here. Maybe it's a trade from there to go long. You know, you want to be monitoring now for the interactions. Go across because that was important. You know, you might be looking here to see It hasn't taken the level out yet, but if and when it does, it's looking very likely. You know, maybe you get an H1 breaker in there, right? Like we had this H1 breaker to go long. This was our long from last session. Excuse me. Right? This was the H12 SFP that I outlined, the H1 bullish breaker. Boom. Well, oops. Look at that now. Maybe you get another something in here. We haven't taken out the level yet, so it's irrelevant. But that's what I would watch for. I would watch for this level. And if that level doesn't hold, then I would think it's coming down into here. Maybe it takes that again. But ultimately, give me that daily SFP into that daily range low, into the bullish weekly breaker. That would be fucking phenomenal. That would be quite a trigger. Let's bring this back over here for a second. Excuse me. Apologies for that, right? It's the monthly SFP. The weekly bullish breaker off the monthly SFP. It's quite a setup. Right? Found supply in the area of supply we were expecting. Pulled back, gave this first trade. Maybe it's going to come down in here and give you the next trade. Right? Don't try and hero any of these trades, right? Nothing is a hero trade right now. We're not in a hero trade market. Just take your trades. Capture your profit. Take the next trade. Okay, that's hype. It's getting real close to that level, right? Like you want to be watching what takes place here. See how important that weekly range quarter level's been. Right? There we go. What is that? What is that from? What's that from? What is that level from? I have that level marked out. I'm gonna get rid of that. Clean that up. Yeah, I would be very closely watching what takes place here. This is, you know what this reminds me of though? This reminds me of the ETH BTC weekly chart. This is hourly though, so like, you know, don't worry. But definitely like the ETH BTC weekly chart, that sort of curve downward. Okay, well, it's getting close to that level. I would monitor that level. You also have some other H4 levels here, but I think if you're coming down in here, let's just take out that daily level. That's what I see on hype. Hopefully you guys followed along there with what I see. Okay, let's move on to the weekly macro dashboard. Let's see what we got. I'm just gonna run through this quickly. What is on the weekly macro dashboard? Let me make this full screen so you can see the whole thing. There we go. We've got our BTCD, total ES divided by BTC, which is the total crypto market cap, excluding stable coins, divided by Bitcoin, which is my altcoin barometer of health, altcoin health barometer, and a good inverse to BTCD. Then we got USDT dominance, which we just added. We swapped out the Dixie. We put in the USDT. That's a fucking tongue twister. The USDTD chart. There we go. Boom. And we also have ETH BTC, SOL BTC, and SOL ETH. Let's take a look at BTCD, see what we got here. So we took out that weekly level a few weeks ago. We tried it back down to the weekly level down here, right? Does look like it's trying to find, right? We're chopping this tightening channel, took out demand. This would suggest to me that BTC is going to regain some dominance this week, just by looking at this. This would suggest to me BTC regains some dominance. Take a move over to total ES. Oh, and look at what happened. I said Last week I said I wouldn't be surprised if alts make a push up into here. If alts push up, but my exact word, I had to pull it up from the last weekly macro dashboard, but I said this would suggest to me, we were trading down here, that given BTC looks like it's going to come down, that if alts make a push up, that's likely your exit because it's going to come up into the supply on total ES, and that's exactly what happened. Tagged supply sold off. So I'll be honest, I haven't been paying attention much at all to alts recently. So if you've been trading alts, hopefully you took some profit because doesn't look too happy. What we can do though is I do see a weekly swing low here now. Right, this was just the same as this. It was the same as this. Right, we formed the we formed a bearish weekly breaker, weekly SFP, weekly market structure break, bearish breaker, weekly SFP, weekly market structure break, bearish breaker, boom. History doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. Well, there it is right there. I don't know. This doesn't bode too well for alts. I could see it push up one more time up into this supply before ultimately having a harder rejection, but this is already not going too well for alts. And BTCD is telling me that maybe this time for Bitcoin to recapture the spotlight a bit. We can take a look at UST. That's a real tongue twister. I don't know if I'm ever going to get used to saying that. USDT dominance. So we've got our weekly range quarter set. Look at that range quarter cap and price there. Inside week as well. You know, we can range quarter that as well. Let's see what we got. Supply holding up as well. I could see this pull back a bit more. You know, we've got some demand down here. Which would be great for the market, right? We want to see some capital pull out of USDT and deploy back into the market. Well, maybe that coincides with BTCD finding a local bottom here. Let's check out ETH BTC. Oof, horrible. Horrible. I mean, even what did we say when we were just looking at the ETH chart? So it looks weak, right? Well, there it is. It's in the demand though. I just don't know where this bottoms, right? And when I was saying that that hourly, it was reminding me the ETH BTC weekly. Well, I was talking about this shit here, right? Looks similar. Looks similar, just on a different time frame. Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't look too hot, and I just don't know where this bottoms. You know, we're going to keep adding more and more areas of demand and supply. Never a good look when you do that. You know, maybe it's trying to find a bottom here, but we have no reason yet on weekly to suggest that might be the case. The only thing I see is there's a weekly. I do see this. Right. It's just so many areas. It's just difficult to say. H1 SFP on BTC. We'll check that out. Remind me to take a look at that after. Okay. That was ETH BTC. SOL BTC doing its damnedest to hold on to that weekly level there. We now have a weekly swing low. Sorry. My nose is starting to get stuffy. Give me that brain fog. Fog. Okay. I mean, it's a bearish weekly range for SOL BTC, but you could see it pushing up into supply. Right, and what did we say? That Sol had been strong, which was that reaction there. I think to the downside, though, it overperforms as well, which would coincide with BTCD finding some stability here. Let's look at Sol ETH. Yeah, I mean, ETH looks like shit. As we spoke about, looking at the ETH chart, looks weakest. ETH BTC looks really weak. Well, Sol ETH looks, strong. Sol is strong against ETH, and we saw that in the chart. We saw that in the Solana chart. We saw that in the ETH chart. Right? Put in that bullish SFP down there that we pointed out last week. Said, Solana may be strong against other coins. Well, there it was. Where are we at now, though? We're still just chop ranging, right? I could see this lose some. I could see this trend back down a bit on Sol ETH. I could see Sol BTC trend back down a bit. ETH BTC, I have no fucking clue. This thing just looks horrible to me, to be honest. But I do think that BTCD is finding a footing here. So my suggestion, or where I would focus, what this is telling me, the TLDR from the weekly macro dashboard is, I would look for BTC strength. Any strength at alts, I would fade. I would look to exit if you're in positions, or I would look to get some juicy shorts, which is crazy to think because the altcoin market it hasn't been great. But there's been, like, over the weekend, there were some pumps I saw on the timeline. I don't look at alts very much, to be perfectly honest with you. I mostly trade BTC these days. I think Sol ETH cools off. I think Sol cools off. I don't know what the hell ETH's going to do, so I wouldn't trade ETH over Solana. I would look to long, or I would look to focus on BTC and possibly short any alts that show some strength, right? It would be great if this rolled over more. USDTD. Like, let's take a look and see if we have. There's our breaker that we outlined from last session, right? It's still held the low. It hasn't even made the market structure shift break yet, right? So people are still consolidating into USDT. If this closes, right, what did we talk about last session? So if you get the close below this market structure shift level, H12, off of the weekly SFP that took place, then you're heavy into the market. It would suggest that people are moving out of USDT into coins. That hasn't happened yet. It held the low, right? SFP, it's holding the low. It's showing some strength in USDT. It's not really what we want to see if we're looking for risk on. So that's a conflicting signal for me right there. Is that this may have one more push up. Maybe we open the week and it's red. Maybe, people I see on the timeline, people calling for an equities rollover. So maybe BTCD goes up just because people rotate out of other alts because the market's going down, and BTC goes down the least. It could be what happens, right? That's what the macro dashboard is telling me, right? People are still consolidating into USDT, into stable coins. BTCD looks like it's bottoming. Alts don't look great. So the two scenarios I could see are either focus on BTC rather than other coins, or we're about to see a next nuke and people will consolidate into stable coins and BTC will go down the least because people are rotating out of it the least. Those are the scenarios I see. I'm sorry, it's not a pretty picture, unfortunately, right? Like, and again, anytime we look at the macro dashboard, it's not in and of itself a trade idea. It's just a heads up as to where to focus our attention for the days and week ahead. And I left that session to begin there. Let's get rid of that. That's distracting. Apologies, lads. The macro dashboard, the weekly macro dashboard, is not in and of itself a reason to take a trade. It is just to give us a little tap on the shoulder to say, hey, focus your attention here this week or over the next coming days, because the macro charts are telling us that this type of move could happen. And remember that these types of moves play out over days or weeks. They're not intraday, right? Even though the majority of the trading that I do is intraday, this just gives you a mental framework of where to focus on a high time frame. Okay. Okay, so that's the weekly macro dashboard. You know what we're going to do real quick, since we're just in an hour. We'll run through it quickly. We are going to take a quick peek. Let's pop this up for a quick second. So we've gone through all of our high time frame levels and strategy. We looked at BTC, ETH, SOL, hype, laid out some potential trades that we're looking for over the next day or days. We looked at our weekly macro dashboard, which is signaling BTC dominance, potential rise. And Rap's been sick. Boo-hoo. What we'll do real quick is we will pop on over to my screener. Rap's high time frame swing screener pro, and we'll put it on the 1 minute because that's the way that it works for up to date. We'll check out alert weekly SFP. Now we know that on the big three, meaning BTC, ETH, and SOL, there were none because we didn't see any while we were just looking. But let's take a look at a couple exchanges. Let's see what put in a weekly SFP on Hyperliquid. Apologies. Bera, Morpho, and Stargate. I did see that Bera had quite a significant pump. Let's take a look. 5-day average vol is almost 50%. That is insane. And it's above our 50 million 24-hour volume. So off the bat, Bera is interesting. We'll mark that with a red dot. Goes on my weekly SFP list. These two, not so much. I don't like anything below 50 million. Sometimes I'll drop that on a 30 million 24-hour vol, but it's like not optimal. The only reason why is like the lower volume are prone to more significant stop runs, and the levels, while they hold, you're cutting it a little bit closer on the edge. So sure, yes, you can get larger percent swings out of them, but I like a little bit more stability and predictability. Okay, so that's Hyperliquid. Let's take a look on Lighter. Did anything put in a weekly SFP on Lighter? They've added a few new assets that I haven't updated this list in a while. DRO. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. 70 mil. Look at that. I do need to go through and update some of my watch lists. Let's take a look at Breakout. For all you Breakout traders. Nothing. Put in a weekly SFP on Breakout. Okay. We can take a look at Orderly. They have a lot of fucking assets though. Some coins on here have 0 24-hour volume. I don't know if that is a typo, like a fuck up or what, but yeah, same thing. 0, Bera. These other two are too low volume. What else do we have here? Let's check out the Bing X list. Shout out to Bing X. Use code Rapture on sign up if you're looking for a new exchange. Let's go, let's go, let's go. A lot of weekly SFPs here. Let's sort by 24-hour volume. So a lot of coins just had 0 volume over the last 24 hours. That is insane. So those didn't actually have weekly SFPs, so they're just the scanner, my screener, scanning and saying none of these had volume. And overall, fairly low volume across the board, right? Bera, but we already have Bera right on our other list, as well as 0. Okay, so from there, what do we do now? Like wrap. Okay, cool. You're showing us your screener. That's cool and all. I know. It's a closed source, my own personal screener that I use, but I can still share with you guys so you can see what the weekly SFPs were. Yeah. And who knows? Maybe in the future I'll figure out a way. Maybe in the future. I need to get some of that engagement up from y'all. Help me help you. Support me. Show up to the stream. Start liking my shit. Start liking my posts. Engage. Maybe these screeners can be yours. So we made our little short list. I can close this now. Come over to here. Come back over to here. Close this. Boom. We'll put back on our high time frame swing. We'll open this up. We'll take a look at this list here. There's those 2 coins that we just added. Bera and 0. See how easy that is. And I go, okay, let's take a look at Bera. Let's see what this weekly SFP. Ooh. That's fucking ugly. I mean, I don't know, man. Why would you fucking look clearly like the exit pump of all exit pumps? Weekly SFP. Into the weekly range quarter. Like, oh my god. What a ghost chain. What a ghost chain. So there's your weekly SFP. On H12. Ugh. What do you even do with that? Except just short it, right? Do I even... The breaker's like, this is a ridiculous thing, right? So, okay. If you get a close below there, which is looking rather likely, H12 close below there, you short a retest. Or you could just try and like catch the breakout on it, right? Like the breakdown. Ugh, this is ugly though. It's ugly. Like, you just have to laugh at shit like this, right? Can't help but laugh. Can't help but laugh. I mean, look, you're getting like, why do I mark out those, right? You got an H4 bearish SFP there, right? Like H4, lads, do me a favor. 0 Koku says jumping on late, but GM, brother. GM, my dude. Thank you for being here. Always appreciate seeing you. If you trade alts, or any asset for that matter, but in particular alts, if you trade alts, just fucking trade H4 SFPs. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything else. Just set up your H4 levels, any H4 swing level, mark it out. You get an SFP, just trade it. Yes, you had one here, and it's looking less likely. They're not all going to be home runs, but, you know, majority of the time an H4 SFP just gives you the trade you want. And this applies to on-chain too. I'm going to have to do an on-chain special. I used to specialize in on-chain. I used to chart any shitcoin with a pulse. That was my tagline from back when I used to run the Astrology for Men live streams. Throwback. Well, I used to be my specialty, charting the on-chain shitters. I'll have to do a roundup episode and chart out some on-chain coins and show you guys 2 things that you can do with on-chain shitters. A, you can, if you got in early, I can show you how to exit and hold on to your gains so that you're not round tripping and leaving too much meat on the table. And 2, or B, I can't remember if I said 1 or A, I can't remember. So 2 or B, or 2B, whatever. How to not catch the falling knife and how to enter on an actual proper setup. And they both utilize H4 predominantly. So we'll have to do that. We'll do a on-chain shitter special. try and pull in some of the on-chain lads to help them realize that you can hold on to those gains and not round trip. And you can enter without catching a falling knife. And it's not that difficult to do. It's based around a lot of the principles I use and show you. They're just fine-tuned on-chain. So we'll run it back. We'll run it back an on-chain special. Maybe I'll holler at some of my old trench buddies. Let's see if I can get one or two of them on stream. We can walk through some on-chain shit coins. See how the on-chain shitter market is doing. I don't trench anymore. I strictly trade perps. I much prefer the pace and the consistency that I can get out of it. But I know a lot of you trade on-chain shitters, and I want to help you guys hold on to your profits and not enter my falling knife. It's really the only two things you need to do when trading on-chain shitcoins. It's not round trip and not buy a dying asset. And there are signs, there are ways. So, Bear, I don't know, man. I don't want to fucking touch this coin. This is horrible. Truthfully, right? We can put our weekly swing low here. There's our bearish weekly range, right? It's into supply, right? Like we got weekly supply here. Looking like shit to me. Anyways, that was one. What was the other one? We got 0. Let's take a look at 0 weekly. Also look like shit, right? Giant. Anytime you see something pop up on the, I'm not gonna say anytime, but like you see people all of a sudden talking about it on the stream, on the feed, on the timeline. Zoom out to high time frame and see what you got. Well, you got a weekly. We took out the. Is this the October 10 candle? Oh wow! I mean, this is one of the better looking charts. Not gonna lie. What do we have here? What was I outlining here? I don't even remember when I did this. This was back mid-December. Wow. My shit still held. I did not take this trade. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I did not take this trade. But the long was there well before this shit happened. Right? Be this guy. Don't be this guy. Right? Unless you took that short, then be that guy. Right? So you had a weekly SFP there. Let's get rid of this now. Let's see what we got. Weekly bearish SFP. Let's go down to H12. Let's see. So here is, it's a ridiculously large range, right? This is your H12. That's your H12 bearish breaker off the weekly SFP. There we go. It's massive. Now what I can't see is it already put in a market structure shift. So we can just call that our breaker on H12, right? Comes up into here. Maybe it gives you some sort of SFP, excuse me, into one of these levels, right? Like we've got a few levels here. We have a why? There we go. All right, look, we've got a few levels in here. So maybe it's going to bounce up in here, give you a H12, or potentially even a. Do we have a daily? No, it'd be H12. Give you a daily H12 SFP into one of those. Clean ass short. All right, weekly SFP already confirmed with the H12 MS market structure shift style break. Or sorry, market structure shift style breaker. Oh my god, this brain fog needs to fuck right off. Okay, so there's H12. Let's see H4. Ah, H4 was much cleaner. Look at that. Boom. There's the H4 swing low that creates the weekly SFP. Close below, confirm the H4 breaker, retag into it, boom. Right, so yeah, now you're feeling a little bit late down here. Right, like that's why I like to have my layouts, right? Because you can see really quickly at a glance what's going on, right? So on my screeners, you can have alerts. Like when this was taking place, this could have been alerting. I have the weekly SFPs. I don't have the alerts on at the moment because why don't I have them on? I don't know. Should have had that on because that was a clean short right here. So here, this is our battle station, right? This is our high time frame swing layout, right? Like I have two prime layouts that I use. I have my low time frame intraday scalp type layout, which is my 6 time frame battle station. Well, this is my high time frame swing. Get an alert, weekly SFP on our way. What's that all about? And you see on H4, ooh, there's our juicy H4 breaker off the weekly SFP. Retested into it. Let's see what we even had on lower time frames. Didn't give you a low time frame signal, as in like another low time frame SFP into here, but the trade was there. Right? This would have been one of you just kind of have to like see that interaction off the breaker and say, okay, I'm hopping in. Oh, excuse me. So since that trade is done already, what else do we see in here? I mean, I could see it bounce from here into a weekly range quarter, but then I think you're looking back up into here. I think you're looking back into here. Yeah, I think a retest up into here is probably a short, if I'm being real. But that's our weekly SFPs. That's all we had. Okay. Let's take a quick peek back at BTC. Let me switch this real quick back to... Let's take a look at the lighter real quick. I know everyone's been talking about lighter. I mean, it's literally just... Oh, I hate that phrase, literally, but it's just... This is range trading. This is as range trading as it gets. Boom, 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 right? Like... Everyone's getting super bullish on lighter. I just don't fucking see it. I don't know. Maybe they see something that I don't see. I don't see it, right? I just don't see it. Get rid of this because it's muddying our... Yeah, I mean, look. Right? Just trade daily SFPs or H12 SFPs. This chart is telling you it is trading... It is trading daily in H12 SFPs, right? You can just avoid all the heartache. People are, everyone's going to get super bullish into range highs. Don't be that guy. Fade them. Everyone's getting super bearish at range lows. Don't be that guy. Fade them. Just trade the SFPs. From here, I don't know. Maybe it finds support into here and then gives you a temporary, but I think I'd rather long down here again. Obviously, it's a range until proven otherwise. That's a saying for a reason. It's a range until proven otherwise. Okay. What was I doing? I came back over to here because I wanted to switch this to hype. And then we're going to come save that. We're going to go back to my scalping battle station. See what we got. See what we got. Okay. So has there been developments? Well, looking very likely we're going to at least take out that level. I would monitor that level for a potential long. Monitor low time frame interactions off that H4 internal range swing low. Right, it's internal to the daily. We have a lot of levels marked out, but that just means that we are prepared to trade those interactions. Hopefully you've gotten something out of this stream. Hopefully you've learned, taken this journey with me, and you learned a thing or two. It's been almost an hour and a half, so we are going to wrap it up. Wrap it up. Once again, that is BTC and Ethereum. Right? Just give me that. Give me that. Give me that thump. And then we've got a trade. And Solana, right? Starting to look heavier. Starting to look heavier. Right? Give me that long somewhere in there. Okay, lads. Hopefully the plan is clear. We don't trade from the middle of nowhere. We wait for those high time frame interactions. We have our levels set. We have our levels marked out. We looked at the weekly macro dashboard. We said to ourselves, BTCD looks like it's due for a relief, for a bounce. Alts, we might be looking to exit on any kind of bounce. Exiting alt positions or shorting if you are in alts. USDTD, the stablecoin dominance, looks like it could be going for another leg up, which to me would say if BTCD goes up with that, it's just because it's going down less than the rest of the market. If equities decide to roll over. Oh, one thing I forgot, it is a holiday in the US tomorrow. So don't expect craziness from the markets. Expect probably more price actions similar to Saturday. But if we get those high time frame levels taken out with an SFP, we'll be looking to trade them. It's your boy Rapture. This has been Scalp and Swing Sessions number 14, the weekly close show. I want to give a big shout out to the good folks over at BingX. Use code Rapture on sign up to get yourself some nice, juicy sign up bonuses. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you're enjoying what I do here. It helps me grow the channel, helps me grow my reach, helps us bring more people along with us on the journey towards profitability and consistency. Right? Like, I went back to the drawing board a year ago, went back to the foundations, rebuilt my entire process, my entire strategy from the ground up. So use my experience to help leapfrog your experience. Dig in on process, dig in on conditions, dig in on rules, use my high time frame levels, and get yourself to consistent profitability. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Rapture out.